All right, welcome back, Running USA people. We are joined today by Tes Sobomehin Marshall, founder and race director of Running Nerds in Atlanta. She's a race director, does a ton of events down there, and also helps with other organizations put on their races. Tes, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
Yes, good to be seen, good to be alive and kicking as best we can. How is the situation in Atlanta right now?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. I think it's all over. But yeah, I mean, we're in Georgia and, we have cases, we get our daily, updates of cases. Being in Atlanta, we're obviously a more urban area. So a lot more touch points for people to possibly get infected, and a lot more kind of heightened awareness around, social distancing, mask wearing, sanitizing, all that. I think just like everybody in the beginning, in the March, April timeframe, you could go downtown Atlanta and it would be ghost town. I mean, it was crazy. It's definitely picked up a lot more over the last couple of months in terms of, traffic and people out and about. But it's still not, not the same hustle and bustle vibrancy that we've been used to here in Atlanta. But it's hot. I guess I should have led with that.
It's normal.
We're in our 90 to 100 degrees every day time frame. So people are definitely anxious to be outside, be outdoors. But at the same time, we're still dealing with this virus, and it's real. It's here, and it's something that we've just had to figure out and work through.
I mean, despite all of that heat that is sort of oppressive for several months, Atlanta is a huge running town. And you, like many of us, got into this sport through participating, through running. I mean, you came from another sport into running, and then you founded Running Nerds, and then you've grown it into something bigger. You've grown it into a movement in Atlanta, and you've got those around you to join in, and then you started Running Nerds 5K. Just tell us, what is Running Nerd Nation for those who don't know?
So I love, telling the, and I've gotten better at telling the story very quickly, but basically, Running Nerds and Running Nerd Nation, I started running in 2010 with a 5K. Didn't run again until 2011. I did a 10K with some friends. And from that point forward, I always say I never stopped running. I joined a running group called Black Girls Run, became a leader in that organization for the Atlanta chapter, and just found myself really immersing myself and becoming really nerdy about running. So me and my friends, we would go and do races and go to group runs and then go back to Facebook and post. And we would use this hashtag Running Nerds at the end of everything. So it'd be like, oh, I ran 5 miles today, and then, went to the local restaurant, got a burger, hashtag Running Nerd or Run Nerd Life. Like, we used to use that. So one day, and I can't take credit for being like the first person to say Running Nerds within our group, but the young lady that did, I said, I want to start a Facebook group and call it Running Nerds. Are you okay if I use the term Running Nerds? And she's like, oh yeah, cool. And she didn't think that it would get to the point where it is when she gave me the thumbs up. But great young lady, still friends with her. But that grew from just a Facebook group to a group run. I think the first ever event we ever hosted under the Running Nerds banner was a clinic. We did a clinic called So You Want to Run a Half Marathon. And we just got a bunch of people on a panel, and people came to listen to people talking about running a half marathon. But that, of course, then grew to putting on a 5K race. That grew to another race. That grew to a series of races. And then I just kind of got the reputation around Atlanta as an organizer, a race director. And next thing I know, Running Nerds LLC, we put on running events here in the Atlanta running community. We host events for other charities and corporate partners. And, I'm very proud of, where we stand in the Atlanta and the national running scene as a leader and a facilitator.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely just so richly ingrained in that running community in Atlanta, and it's happened so organically, as you mentioned. When you are in that community, and I know it's a little different now, but what are you hearing from folks in the community we know that many of them are probably ready to return to races, but what are some ways in which we as race people can help our other running friends feel safe and comfortable to come on back?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we did a great job just as a running city of keeping people active, connected, and positive. And that's something that I started kind of saying and kind of coined a little ACP, active, connected, positive phrase right in the beginning of everything. Races were quickly pivoting to virtual. They were giving runners options to still, be connected to the running community, running solo, but still together. We had a lot of challenges that popped up. And then, of course, you guys know we have Atlanta Track Club here. Atlanta Track Club is really like the big brother, big sister in our running community. And they've done some great virtual pivots. I'm sure you all know the Peachtree Road Race that would have been July 4th last weekend got postponed to Thanksgiving. So, and then they have also rolled out a couple of small touchless race events. I think those are going to start next week. So a lot of us are just kind of, playing off of what other races and race directors are doing. And at the same time, trying to figure out best practices to get people back to some semblance of running races. And I mean, my opinion is that it'll never be the same as it was. But when we start to figure out where people's comfort levels are and where we can be extremely responsible in this time, I think we can put together some really great events and people will be extremely excited to come out.
Tess, you've blended a lot of fun ideas into your events over the years. Like you did a sign update photo op, you've got a 5K that ends at Topgolf, which sounds awesome. Yes. As you think of these virtual challenges and events, how are you integrating fun? I mean, fun can't go away. We refuse to let fun go away. How are you going to integrate fun into these virtual challenges that you're a part of?
So yeah, we just completed our Run Social Distancing Monday Nighter. And that was basically, we had 2 races that were scheduled on Monday in May and 1 in June. And we have a local brewery here called Monday Night Brewing that we partner with for several races. So we basically took those 2 races and combined them into a virtual running challenge. So we made a really cool shirt. We got this dinosaur theme going with the Monday Night Brewing. And we put together, maybe I'll show you the shirt and you can kind of throw it in there at the end. But the dinosaurs are all practicing social distancing while they're running. We got one that's coming through a finish line tape with made out of toilet paper. We got one of the dinosaurs with claw sanitizer. So we have a local artist that created these characters. So put those on a shirt. People really like that. That's one of those races where you signed up for the shirt. Like, yeah, running, yeah, cool, but I need that shirt. But also really just emphasizing supporting our local businesses. That was a real big push for our virtual challenge. And then we've got another one that we're doing in a couple of weeks. Again, just encouraging people to support businesses, to keep themselves challenged. It's a summer heat half marathon, virtual half marathon. So we're like running one on the hottest day of the year. So you can, claim, you're still keeping at it. So I guess you can consider that fun if you're a runner. Running in, the dead of summer might not be fun for everybody, but you get a bunch of running nerds together and that's fun. But yeah, I really have enjoyed participating in a lot of the challenges that some of my colleagues are doing. I love JT's California 500 challenge. I have a group that's participating in that, group of 4 other ladies, and it's been a real motivator for us. I love the content. I know NYC Runs did a really cool 5 boroughs virtual challenge. So it's been neat to see, and locally here, there's a company called Run Horizon, and they're doing a Georgia Torch relay challenge. So like the route that the torch traveled to Atlanta for the Atlanta Olympics. And so I love seeing all the innovation, and I just kind of try to get in where I see Running Nerds fitting into the scheme of things.
Yeah. Well, we stepping outside of the pandemic, I guess, for a second. I mean, we're at an important moment here in our country where we are presented with a more urgent need to make this world a just and equal place, and to reinforce louder than ever that Black lives matter. And I feel that running and races can help. I feel that events help unite us. Right? Wasn't that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's my take on it, TK. I'm a Black woman. I've always been a Black woman. There's no, when I step into the room, I'm a Black woman, and I've always approached my place in this in the running world, the running industry, and even in race directing is, um, being a I guess representation matters is a really important term that you'll hear, or a statement that you'll hear. And I'm very proud to always represent the African American runner, the Black race director. But at the same time, like you said, running is the one sport, or one of the sports I think that when we get on that pavement, it's literally like you're fast, you're slow, you're gonna take 2 hours to do your marathon, you're going to take 6 hours to do your marathon, but guess what? It's all the same distance. It's all the same course. We have the same struggles, at the end of the day. So I think that running, like you said, is that it can be a good equalizer and bring us to a common ground. And then it can also be a place where you can, have, tough conversations about social issues or racial injustice, or, run for something that means something to you. So all those things I think are very important. And I'm very proud to be a part of the road race industry, because I think we're one of the industries that do kind of get it, when it comes to, we're all in this together. We're all humans, and we all have the same struggles at the end of the day. Yeah. So.
Well, I think one of the questions everyone is asking themselves is like, how can we do better? How can race directors and running, how can we grow diversity in the sport? How could we be a more inclusive place? I do think we are doing well in the industry, but what are some ideas that you might have for like how we could all do better?
Well, I've been asked this question a few times, and one of the things I think is important, like I said, representation matters. If you are producing a race that tends to only draw one subset of people, where are you marketing your race? Are you doing things in the community to make running and racing accessible to diverse populations? And I know that's not necessarily possible in every region of the world, but we've gotten to a point here in Atlanta where signing up for a road race in the morning, it's not odd to see, a larger percentage of African American runners at races. I don't feel that in other cities when I travel to other cities. So how did Atlanta kind of get to that point where it's, like I said, it's a larger percentage? It's still not, majority, or sorry, my dog's barking in the background. You want me to?
Oh, you're cool.
It's good? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, you can't hear him. Probably I hear him. What was I saying? So Atlanta, I think we have put running in different areas so that it's more accessible to diverse populations. So one event that we host is called The Race, and it's a half marathon and 5K that runs through the west side neighborhoods of Atlanta, which are a lot of the historically Black neighborhoods of Atlanta. And it's the only race, the only endurance event that runs in that region of the city. So I think, opening your kind of your race calendar to more diverse populations, having staff that represents diversity as well, I think is very important. So they're small things that we can do to expose running to Black communities, Latino communities, Native American communities. I mean, those are all underrepresented populations in road racing.
Yeah, I think that one of the first things you said about advertising and marketing into those particular areas, that was something I learned at Running USA, or heard at Running USA years ago. It just was like, makes total sense. Like, get your race marketed in areas and neighborhoods of diverse populations who may not have otherwise feel invited or know about road racing. Well, there's something that's catered.
But further than marketing and advertising, accessibility. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let's be realistic. You know, people aren't going to necessarily travel 20, 30 miles to run a 5K, but if that 5K is right there in their neighborhood and all they got to do is just wake up and go, you have a much better chance to draw those populations. So
Yeah. Well, Tes, thank you very much. This is Tes Sobomehin Marshall. She is the founder and race director of Running Nerds. She is a Running USA member. And hopefully we'll catch you at the next conference where we'll have a ton of stuff to talk about.
Oh, it's going to be just networking. And I think we're going to be up late every night just talking through all the stories. So
man,
look forward to it.
Well, Tes, thanks very much for joining us. And we'll see you at the next conference, if not race.
Thank you. And thank you, Running USA, for keeping us active, motivated, positive, and for all the great work that you're doing. Thank you.
ACP.